Well, welcome back, and we're delighted to have with us Congressman Lamar Smith. When the Justice Department announced it would be suing the state of Arizona, many of us asked the question, well, why not sue those 70-plus cities that are so-called sanctuary cities? We got an answer from the Justice Department today saying that it's okay, as far as the Justice Department of Eric Holder is concerned, to passively violate the law, in effect. Joining me now to make some sense out of all of this is Congressman Lamar Smith. He is the ranking Republican member of the Judiciary Committee. He helps shape committee policy on crime, immigration, intellectual property, and constitutional issues. He's also the primary architect of the 1996 immigration law. Congressman, great to have you with us.
Lou, always good to be with you as well, and thanks for pointing out such an important issue. Isn't it interesting that the Department of Justice sues Arizona for wanting to enforce immigration laws, but won't sue sanctuary cities for ignoring those laws? It just doesn't make sense. I don't even want to call it political correctness. It's a wanton disregard of the responsibility of the Department of Justice to enforce federal law, really.
Yeah, I mean, and so, basically they're saying that the immigration policy of Arizona interferes with that of federal law, which means somehow the Justice Department has interpreted federal law to be optional, and, and that they don't have to secure the border, don't have to stop illegal immigration.
Yeah, they don't have that option of deciding which laws to enforce or not enforce. For example, are they going to ignore individuals who fail to pay taxes? I don't think they're going to let them get a pass. Why do they ignore the sanctuary cities that are basically forbidding their law enforcement officers from calling Homeland Security and before that Immigration Department and reporting crimes, for example? There are many, many people in the United States who have been killed or assaulted or robbed because these sanctuary cities have not reported the illegal immigrants who committed those crimes.
Yeah, it probably cost the mayor of San Francisco his job, or his at least ambition to run for governor because of the people who were killed because of the sanctuary policy in that city. That's just one example, as you say, many. Yeah. Now, you were the principal author of the law in 1996. At what point is there not some way to say, Justice Department, we got a problem, and it's time for you to understand it?
You wish you could sue the federal government to make them enforce the
Absolutely.
law. But what a sad commentary that we've got to try to force the federal government to comply with its most important responsibility, enforcing federal laws. But yes, in that 1996 bill that I introduced in the House, we said it was a direct violation of federal law for any entity, state, local, or federal, to not cooperate with the federal government when it comes to illegal immigration. And how they've gotten away with it for so long, I don't know. We obviously need a president, we need an administration, we need an attorney general who says, you know what, I'm going to fulfill the promise that I made when I took the oath of office, and I'm going to enforce the laws of the United States faithfully, not pick and choose which ones to enforce.
Yeah, but the fact that we've witnessed both the Bush administration and now the Obama administration.
Yeah, it is both administrations.
Refuse to secure the borders. Refuse to enforce immigration law. At what point does this, seriously, at what point does this rise to the level of a breach of oath to protect the Constitution of the United States?
I think we are on the verge of being there right now. And, we keep hearing the words of the administration that they want to secure the borders, but every one of their actions is exactly the opposite. They no longer enforce worksite enforcement and make sure that people in the country illegally are not taking the jobs that should go to American citizens, illegal immigrants. They're not enforcing sanctuary cities. They're not enforcing a lot of laws on the books. They seem to be almost specializing in not enforcing immigration laws. But whatever law they're not enforcing, it is, I think, comes awfully close to a violation of their oath of office.
I am confident, because Arizona has won every challenge against its anti-illegal immigration laws and initiatives, that they will prevail here. Are you?
I am hopeful. Unfortunately, it is really an unusual precedent for the federal government to weigh in against a state trying to enforce its own laws. And the Supreme Court may take that in consideration. I hope not. It will probably be a close vote, probably a 5-4 vote. I hope that the federal government will be put in its place, and the Supreme Court will say the states have every right to protect the lives and property of their own residents, but there's no guarantee of that. I hope that. I just don't know for sure what's going to happen.
I've talked with a number of constitutional scholars saying that it is very rare that the federal government would intervene against a state in this fashion.
Yes.
And that the reason they don't is that there is an implicit bargain that the states will assist the federal government.
Yes.
In the enforcement of law always, whether it's drug law, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
How much weight do you give that view?
A little weight, and that's of some concern. I just don't know how much consideration the Supreme Court will take that the federal government has taken the unusual step of weighing in against Arizona. By the way, of course, the federal government is saying that the reason they're filing suit is because Arizona is interfering with the enforcement of federal law. You know what I'd like to do with this with this administration, with this Attorney General, is say, okay, what parts of the Arizona law do you think interfere with the federal law, and in what parts of the law are representative of federal law? It's at least 95% federal law, and yet they're filing suit against it. They just don't want to enforce immigration laws. They really don't have it in their heart to reduce illegal immigration.
And if that is the case, then the country is going to get one of the great benefits, and I've said this, Congressman, is I believe that great clarity will ensue as a result of this.
Yeah.
And I believe the American people, if it turns out that the state of Arizona, cannot protect its own sovereign lands and people, then we no longer have a union, and the condition has been set for an extraordinary reaction on the part of the entire citizenry of this nation.
I think that's where it's going to start, and that's where it's already starting. You have a strong majority of the American people who either support the Arizona law or certainly support enforcing immigration laws. And if the federal government doesn't respond, you're going to see these people turn out in the November election. If the administration does not start enforcing the law, I think the American people, the voters, will change a lot of faces in Washington. And that's where all true reform starts, is with the voice of the people. I agree with you entirely.
And let's hope that we all understand as we approach November 2nd, we can't afford one-party rule for another day in this country. Congressman, we thank you for being with us. Congressman Lamar Smith, thanks so much. And we thank you for joining us for this brilliant hour of broadcasting here on the Lou Dobbs Show.